Day is brought to you by Barton Community College. Explore your future and get started now. Visit gobarton.com.
Okay, Sports Day in 3, 2, 1.
No, for real though, we appreciate everything y'all do. Showing up to Arrowhead every single week. We know we had to go on the road last year, but I promise you next year we'll be at home, and we're going for that three-piece, and don't get it twisted. We're doing it. 3 times, first time in NFL history, we're doing it. Love y'all.
It was perfect, guys. We had temperatures in the 60s. The previous 2 parades were probably in the teens or 20s. One day, kind of getting used to it in Kansas City. Guys get out, they slap fives with people, they sign autographs. It's a lot of fun, and it just took a complete 180.
For me, I knew they were gunshots. I knew the difference between gunshots and fireworks, and everyone was saying that they were fireworks. And my brother and my buddy were agreeing with me. They're like, no, those weren't fireworks, and everyone's trying to convince me that they were.
We've been locked in all week. We got moved up to number 2 on Monday, so we really felt like we had to come out here and prove that we are the number 2 team in the nation. We have a lot of different pieces, so if one person's not getting it going, we have a couple other guys that can pick us up.
We came out, we were solid the third quarter. Our defense was improved. We rebounded the ball. They didn't have an offensive rebound in the first half. They only had 6 for the game.
Offensively, we just more consistent three-point game, outside game, and then our posts, I feel like, have taken another step this year, too. So we're pretty hard to guard. We go inside out most of the season, and when our threes are on, we can become pretty dangerous.
Central Plains' defense this year has been really superb. In fact, I don't know if there's been more than, say, 2 teams, 2 Acacia teams who have scored over 45 against Central Plains this year.
Right there on Kansas Avenue. You turn briefly on Fish Street in Liberal, and then you turn on Lincoln. And she was tearing it up the entire distance of it. She said, we interviewed her afterwards, and she said, I couldn't believe I looked back and there was nobody there.
And welcome to Sports Day on 1590 KVGB, 95.5 FM, the talk of the town. It is the Thursday Sports Day show. Steve Webster with you today, joined by Mike Corson, Aaron Clark, and the legendary Mike Hesher. On the program today, I found out how many things people know about you. On the show today, we're going to be talking Great Bend Panther basketball. Head coach Kyle Cree is going to be in to assess Tuesday night's big win over Liberal, and also preview tomorrow night's trip to Dodge City. He'll be joined by sophomores Dax Minton and Ian Premer. Central Plains boys basketball coach Michael Ryan joins the show. We'll be discussing the 8th-ranked Oilers season so far, their expectations for postseason. Barton wrestling coach Nathan Brockelman joining us in studio. He'll wrap up the Barton wrestling season. We'll have Thursday sports headlines and sounds of the past 24 hours or so.
I just heard Dax Minton's name. I haven't got to see one of those full court passes. Got to see one the other night, but it didn't convert, but the pass was there.
Well, they had too much time on the clock. There was still about 3 seconds on the full court heave rather than the less than 1 that they're accustomed to.
And they defended it different.
They
had safety over the top on the play.
They were ready. They brought in Coach Brian Hill, or I guess that's the Dodge City coach. I was moving ahead to next week.
That's all good. All right, let's get the sounds of the past 24 hours or so. Patrick Mahomes at Union Station yesterday in Kansas City. He calls his shot on a three-peat next year for the Kansas City Chiefs. And, of course, then things kind of went a little bit different than what people had planned. Mick Schaefer, KSHB 41 sports director in Kansas City. What a beautiful day it was, and then it turned in a moment. Yeah, gunshots will do that. Great story on GreatBendPost.com right now if you go there. Penned by Mike Corson. Camden Kennan, an employee at the Barton County Sheriff's Office, one of the several area residents in attendance. His group had just taken a photo near the stage when the first shots rang out. Some people thought they were fireworks, but not Camden. He is in law enforcement. He knew there were shots right away. So tell me about your conversation this morning, Mike Corson, with Camden Kennan.
Yeah, you never know how close people were, but I think it was a group of about 5 Hoisington residents go up there. So they got kind of pinned on the west side because they didn't want to push their way into the middle. Well, that's where the shooting was. So here's the gunshots, knows they're gunshots. So they're trying to get out, come across 2 gunshot victims on the way out. His brother, 16 years old, ends up covering the 2 women they're with, kind of for cover, And while he's on the ground, he sees a gun, points it out to the police. So it's at one point they
were
thought,
right at ground zero then.
yeah, it's be curious at the end of this thing to see a map to see what ground zero was. Was it 20 yards? Was it 100 yards? Still a lot we don't know. But yeah, at one point, one of the in the party thought a car was driving through the crowd. People were screaming about that. So imagine just mass chaos with, I don't know, probably still 100,000 people left.
Victims ranging, according to Police Chief Stacy Graves this morning, range between the ages of 8 and 47. Half of the 22 injured people are under the age of 16, and the mother of 2 was killed. Police said 3 people detained, firearms recovered. Investigators calling for witnesses and victims to call a dedicated hotline. That shooting outside Union Station happening despite the presence of more than 800 police officers on hand. But they think it was just a disturbance between some individuals. Parade and rally, third in 5 years. Let's see, Mayor Q, Quentin Lucas, saying they don't know how they'll handle the next one if the Chiefs win. Maybe hold it in a vastly smaller event, like at Arrowhead Stadium with fans going through metal detectors.
Just keep taking things away, and it's our own fault, but if you look at how you have to get into a basketball game now, if you go to a high-level basketball game, probably walking in with a clear purse. Go to concerts, you're going to get searched. So at least you still get to do those things. It'd be a travesty. You had people traveling in from out of states, let alone from across Kansas. This is their team. They got to celebrate. It's cool to see 1 million people outdoors. And then 3 idiots, and maybe it just doesn't happen again.
I'm glad that I grew up in the time I did. I was able to go to things like that. You wouldn't have to worry about that. It's almost 1 million people is what they're saying down there. And 3 guys. Although, I don't know. I've heard some different accounts of what it was like. Usually, the parade was really neat. The rally, things like that. So,
Hesh and I were talking this morning. You know, it's a party, so there's some drinking involved, and maybe there was some bravado by one Patrick Mahomes on the stage because of it. But wouldn't you want to remember your parade? Some of those guys take it a little far, and they're probably feeling pretty bad today.
What's too far?
You also
feeling bad today and not remembering.
Well, but they haven't been cutting loose like that for all season. So one day of feeling bad after a whole season of not being able to have your little bottle of Hennessy or whatever you may be getting after.
I was disappointed, Pat, that Travis Kelce wasn't down in a Bud Light instead of that Budweiser. I mean, he's in commercials with Bud Light. I don't know. He could get in trouble for that. Anyway, that's where we're at today.
One of the extra carbs.
Yeah. Okay, let's move on. I don't know anything else you guys have to say on this.
I just throw at you. What I always get the kick out of these situations is at some point it's live. You have no idea what's around the corner, whether that's the Kennedy assassination, the plates they had afterward. You look at the video, the mayor's riding down in his convertible, leading the parade in his red Kansas City jacket. 4 hours later, he's on national TV delivering somber news. Mahomes is not talking trash, but doing what the Chiefs fans went to listen to. A couple hours later, they're on Twitter, thoughts and prayers. It's just weird that it can go from this great moment of celebration to that. It just kind of reminds you that it's always out there, so just always be aware.
Well, we haven't got to the 24-hour cycle, although a little bit almost, but I want to hear the blame game start now. There's 800 there, the cops weren't doing their job. Well.
1 million people.
1 million people. There you go. All right, let's get to basketball. Barton Cougars at home last. They just continue to just destroy teams. I have not seen a team this consistent over a junior college basketball season, really from start to finish, and I guess that's what you are, and you're the second-ranked team in the country. But they've just been on a roll, just, not, we're going to have a bad night, we're going to get in a close one here, we'll have to, come from behind and win one. They smashed Seward last night, 86-55. That was guard Christian Bowen Webb. He had 10 points, 4 of 8 shooting. Cougars now 24-1 on the season. They will head to Coffeyville on Saturday, and they got some help last night, too, because Hutchinson went to Ark City and beat Cowley 88-86. So your standings now, Barton 18-1. Hutch actually in second right now at 16-2. Cowley 16-3 after that loss. Butler picked up a win last night, so they're 14-4, but Barton closing in on that regular season championship. Cole Rife talking on Tuesday. He's kind of like me, man. That's win that regular season title. I wish it would just punch your ticket automatically in. I think it does for the most part, especially with at-large berths now. But, yeah, cut down the nets then, and then they want to take the Region 6 title because you don't want to get that at-large bid. You would just want to go in and cut down the nets after winning that tournament, but you should be able to cut down the nets knowing you're going to the national tournament after winning a regular season championship. I think it is, but you don't know for sure.
It'd be nice to have them kind of cemented because, like you said, with the at-large bids, the Jayhawk Conference typically has enough talent that if you win
the league, you're
exactly
like Dodge City last year. They won the league, should have gone, but bad thing was they went instead of Barton, but they won the regular season title, man.
You talk about the consistency. There was obviously the 2 unbeatens ahead of Barton. One of them got beat while Barton continues to roll. And then you dropped the bomb yesterday that the other number 1 almost got beat twice. So Barton County has not been in that situation despite a tough schedule.
I just want to see him ranked number 1.
That's what I'm shooting at.
Let's see. Alan Clark talking about his team's 70-62 win over Cowley. He said he was happy the first 35 minutes. Last 5 minutes got a little sloppy, but that's all right. Barton now 19-6 overall, 14-5 in league play as they win the basketball game last night. And for the Lady Cougars right now, they are, just a half game behind Dodge City, who's 15-4. Barton 14-5 in league play. So maybe 3 seed in the postseason tournament. Hutchinson remains unbeaten. I hope they do when they come to town next week. You want the number 1 ranked unbeaten Blue Dragons on your home floor. That place is going to be jumping next week when Hutchinson comes to town. So the Cougars take care of business. Lacrosse basketball coach Kyle Schmidt talking about his squad on Tuesday here on Sports Day and what they've done well this year. They've done a lot of things well. They're 15-2 heading into tomorrow's game against Mineola. Michael Ryan will be a guest. Mike Corson is going to be talking with Coach Ryan here in just a moment. Connor Nickel talking about Central Plains and their defensive ability on Sports Day on Friday. Central Plains does not play tomorrow, so they're off. So we'll get to hear from Coach Ryan coming up here in just a little bit. There is some action tonight. Thursday night basketball, Maxville travels to Ingalls. Reno County is at Chase to take on the Cats tonight. And Smith Center is at Russell. And finally, what a fun show yesterday. Brock Kappelman, he's staying all night. Let's get him down here. That was cool. And we had an insider, International Pancake Insider Brock Kappelman, the voice of the International Pancake Race, at least on the U.S. side, talking about the performance of pancake race winner Pamela Bolivar yesterday as she ran away from the other pancake flippers.
Yeah, we were having fun with that on the AM morning show. Never crossed my mind that he was coming in and that he would actually be the voice of. So fun to get that insight because I've never been able to see it. And it is a big event for what it is.
If you had a race like that in your team, we'd be down there.
Oh, yeah. We'd be providing play-by-play coverage. You'd be the voice of the pancake.
Oh, yeah. I mean, human foosball, cow patty bingo, those are the things that I excel in. Well, let's get a race. Why does Liberal get it? Why can't we have our own pancake? Is it a flipper or a flopper?
I think it's a flipper.
So maybe we can do a pancake flop race.
I think they're only going to flip it once, right? I mean,
twice.
Yeah,
see, that was an interesting
So what's the
tidbit.
strategy? Do you flip it early or do you flip it late?
You got to flip it before the finish line, right before they usually stop and then cross. So that was an interesting tidbit that you don't start the clock until after the first flip. It's like a false start.
Well, they got an individual clock on each one of them? Because you're going to flip your pancake.
Different.
You're going to
That's
flip it.
synchronized flipping.
What if it flops out?
I'm curious about I'm guessing some women have lost races.
Technical foul
on the flip.
And probably if you went down, I mean, they would have like a replay judge or something like that laying on his belly like a wrestling official, because maybe they dive out and were able to scoop it before it hit the ground, but then you'd be on the ground, so it'd be pretty hard to make that up, I think, at that point.
I've seen pictures of these women. Their right hands, most of them are right-handed, big forearms, practice flipping, all that practice.
So you heard it here first. A beefy forearm goes into making a good pancake, according to Mike Corson.
But then you've got to go out and run and race.
Well, we also have to wonder, do they allow banana pancakes in the race? Because then Corson can participate.
Would you want a heavier pancake?
No,
I would.
no.
I'd want one because it's windy out in Liberal. You could get that on the flip. The wind could catch the wings of the pancake.
Take
Anyway.
my lightweight T-foul and
There you go. Sounds the past 24 hours or so. Sports headlines today. We'll run down some other ones later on in the show. But lost in all of this yesterday. Everyone said, well, Steve Spagnuolo should be a head coach. Well, I think he knows what he is and what he likes doing. He's pretty good at defensive coordinator, and he got an extension yesterday after leading the Chiefs to that Super Bowl. So contract extension for Spags.
Still no details out that I've seen from it, but like you said, now 4 Super Bowls as a coordinator under Spagnuolo's belt, the most on, or as a coordinator on either side. Also, only coordinator in history to win a Super Bowl with 2 franchises after he helped upset the Patriots there in 2007. So he'll always have a soft spot in my heart for that. Keep him in Kansas City for a little while longer. He does a lot of great things on the defensive side.
I heard this
coming out of the
yesterday,
bye.
so why don't we have coordinators in the Hall of Fame?
It's a good question. I'm not entirely sure. I imagine it's because a lot of time the very good coordinators go on to become head coaches.
Yeah.
But
wouldn't, I mean, you got 4 Super Bowl rings. You've got another coach on the staff that I think the defensive backs coach that has, or linebackers coach has 6 Super Bowl rings because he won 3 of them with the Patriots.
isn't there some variance there what OCDC might put in the game versus it could get vetoed at the head coaching level? So we have no idea what sometimes they do for different organizations.
Well, do you think that Andy's really breaking down or coming over and over? Are you going to, seriously, are you blitzing 11 guys on this play?
We're going to run what on our own 6?
Well, and that's one of the special parts about the head coach coordinator dynamic between that Reed and Spagnuolo have, because Reed is just a full send offensive guy who hasn't really necessarily had a defensive identity of his own. He's brought in defensive coordinators that he's worked well with and found a very productive marriage with Steve Spagnuolo.
And it seems to work better when your head coach is the offensive guy, right?
Generally,
because
a little bit.
Yeah, because he just, whatever. Good, defense, you go do your own thing, but it's hard to stay out of, and it's not hard for Andy to stay out of Spags' kitchen. But if you're the head coach and they're calling the plays that score points, it's harder to stay out of that kitchen.
Absolutely. And we've kind of seen it. I feel like it takes a lot more to do it with a defensive side. Like the defensive head coach has to get that defensive unit just clicking on all cylinders, find the guys who fit in. Because when you do get it done, you get those special defenses like the 2000 Ravens, the 85 Bears that just, they have the hogs, they have the coaches to make it happen. But it feels a little easier on the offensive side, just being able to scheme the offensive ends. And maybe that's just because the offensive side of the ball kind of has an advantage against the defense right now in the league. But kind of like you're saying, when was the last time we saw a big defensive-oriented coach win one? I guess you'd have to just go back to the last time the Patriots won it with Belichick. But
yeah, absolutely. He's done a few. Okay, Caitlin Clark update.
Big game, must-see TV tonight. 8 points away from the national career scoring record. So it's back in Iowa. Those tickets usually go for about $15 for a home game. You'll be lucky to get one for $240 now, probably more like $330. So if you want some numbers here, she's averaging 32.1 points a game this season. So the first and third all-time scorers played a 139 games. Caitlin, this will be her 126th. And then Jackie Stiles is fourth on the list. She only played in 129. So career averages, Clark is at 28.2. Jackie Stiles was 26.1. And Kelsey Plum, the current leader, was at 25.4.
But it's not going to be the record, though.
How?
Pearl Moore has the all-time record for women's basketball. It stood for 45 years. She did it at Francis Marion College, piled up 4,661 points from 1975 to 79. So those people, they have not mentioned that because those people going to the game tonight are getting screwed paying that much money. They're not even seeing a record.
I believe that's quite the margin. I don't have 3,527 is the record. So what'd you say, 44?
4,661 points.
Right.
Well, we said NCAA record, so that's where you qualify it and you.
Oh, you're going to break it up now.
Yeah.
No, it's a women's basketball record.
Like with the home run record, they're kind of afraid to say it's the major league record, so they just say it's the AL record because everybody knows Roger Maris was in the American League.
Are you saying that the Francis Marion, I mean, he's still putting it through the hoop. It's the same thing. 4,061 points is the same playing at Francis Marion as it is if you score 4,000. And she did it without the 3-point shot.
She was a great NAIA player.
Give me a when's Francis Marion playing? I'll pay $500 for that game. I mean, we've got.
We should become the broadcast home of Francis Marion.
Pearl Moore.
Did she get a fifth COVID year with those numbers?
No, not back in the Pearl Moore.
Interesting.
Give me Caitlin Clark. Scores 4,000 points without a 3-point shot.
Pearl says, I used to hit him from half court, and I got 2 points.
Yeah, exactly. That's the way it goes. That's the way Kerry Jones feels, too. Skyline High School, 5'8" high jumper. The best girls basketball player in the history of the state of Kansas.
Ooh, hot take.
With or without a 3-point line.
With or without a 3-point line. Okay, we're going to talk wrestling. Nathan Brockman coming in next.
When it comes to car maintenance, it's good to know a local guy that can get things done. The Eller family has been in the auto repair business in Great Bend forever. Greg Eller continues that long tradition of helping people. Eller Automotive Repair specializes in wheel alignments, oil changes, and general maintenance for all makes and models of cars and small trucks. Open 8 to 5 Monday through Thursday, 8 to 4 Fridays. Eller Automotive Repair at 915 Morton, right behind Great Bend Appliance, Furniture, and Sleep Source, 10th and Morton.
Venture Corporation is a homegrown company with almost 50 years of experience in asphalt, paving, and construction, and they need equipment operators, mechanics, and CDL drivers. Venture offers many benefits, including 401k and Blue Cross Blue Shield health insurance. Call Leslie for all the details. Work for a family-owned and family-oriented company that is here today and will be here in the future. Venture Corporation, South Highway 281, Great Bend, is an equal opportunity employer.
Want to graduate a little sooner? Take online courses with Barton Online and transfer seamlessly to your university of choice without all the hassle. We have 6-week and 8-week sessions starting in February and March. Save tons of time and money and get ahead by taking courses at Barton and transferring your credits. Now enrolling for both sessions. Get started at online.bartonccc.edu.
Now, in its second decade, it's Sports Day on 1590 KBGB and 95.5 FM.
Welcome back to Sports Day. Nathan Brockman joining us, head coach of the Barton Wrestling Cougars, as their season continues with one wrestler in the national tournament. Our show brought to you today by Nextech Wireless. Experience wireless built by Kansans for Kansas and Equity Bank. More than 40 locations throughout Kansas, including Great Bend, Larned, Maxville, and St. John. Go to equitybank.com. Nathan Brockman in with us today. Okay, South Central District last weekend. How'd it go on the Hill for hosting such a big and prestigious event?
I think it went pretty smooth for the most part. I didn't really get a bunch of complaints. The only complaint I really got was whether we could run 3 mats or not. I think that's kind of hopefully the goal in the future is to be able to run 3 mats just so the day's not quite as long. But other than that, I think it went pretty smooth. And, unfortunately we only got one, but also fortunately that we got one as well, Wasn't really sure what the expectations were, at least with the crew that we had. And looking at the brackets, I thought we'd kind of be anywhere from 0 to 3 or 4. And got one in and got a couple others that were close, and unfortunately didn't get a wild card bid.
Charles Newman, 165. Tell me about this kid.
Yeah, so CJ is from Junction City. He actually went to Labette for a year. Didn't end up making weight for the qualifier his freshman year. They tried to cut him down late because you can kind of cut down a little bit and wrestle whatever weight you want as long as your descent plan says it was. And unfortunately, he didn't make the weight for his freshman year to try to go to the national tournament, and kind of got in a little bit of academic issues, but he got those figured out, took a year off, and I was fortunate to pick him up as a transfer this past season. And so this is his second year at the collegiate level. He does have a lot of freestyle and Greco experience. He's an under 23 Greco-Roman All-American back in 2020, and when he actually should have been wrestling in the under 20s, but he couldn't afford to go to Vegas, but he could make the trip up to the under 23 tournament. So, he's got a lot of big-time tournament experience, so hopefully that'll help play into fact for him with his first trip to the national tournament.
Okay, and talk about his day. How'd it go?
You know what? He kind of had a pretty good draw. I'm not really sure exactly what happened. I know Northeastern Oklahoma was missing a bunch of guys. I don't know if they got in trouble or if they got sick or what exactly, but a bunch of their ranked guys ended up being missing. So we were actually fortunate and able to get him the 4 seed. But I mean, just kind of based off of having that under 23 All-American status, they were able to give us the 4 seed, and he buyed into the quarterfinals, picked up a fall. And then we had to wrestle the number 1 guy in the country, Atkins from Pratt, in the semifinals. I think we lost 9-0, I believe, or something like that. And moved to the backside and wrestled the Boone kid from Concordia. We got beat by Boone again this time, but it was a little bit closer. And then we took the Northwest Tech kid, forfeited to us for 5th and 6th, so we ended up finishing 5th.
Talk about near misses.
We had a couple near misses. Caden Blake at 149, another Junction City boy. He took 7th. He did revenge a loss for 7th and 8th, but ended up taking 7th. Avery Wolf took 8th. He did not get a wild card, but the guy that took 7th got a wild card, so that's kind of a little bit frustrating for him, I'm sure. And he barely missed out last year on the wild card, but he had a pretty good season and pretty good career, and he's in pretty good spirits given the situation. The other ones that were in the top 8 were Keenan Gonzalez at 184, and he actually put the guy that took 3rd on his back but couldn't get the fall. If we would have got the fall there, he'd have been a qualifier. It was very, very close. A little bit of the ref not quite being in the right position. I think if he'd have been in a little bit different spot on the mat, we might have got the call, because in college, if you're on your back, it doesn't take long to pick up a fall. And our 197, Dorian Hippen, took 8th as well. So those were our top 8. Stephen Baldwin, unfortunately, had a rough draw. The 2 kids that he got beat by took 4th and 5th. He got beat by one of them in overtime and the other one by like 11-9. We didn't get a chance to wrestle the 7th and 8th place guys, but we pinned them earlier in the year, so it was just kind of a rough draw there. And same with our heavyweight, Nathan Guzziato. We drew the number 1 seed first right off the bat. That guy ended up winning it. We lost to him 17-13. We did put him on his back late, but we weren't able to secure the fall. And on the backside, the number 2 seed got upset first round. So we drew him, and we got beat by 11-9 by him. So we got beat by the guys that took 1st and 5th in that bracket as well. You're in a different spot in the bracket on a couple of those guys, and who knows what happens.
Okay, on to nationals for Newman now, and he's the only one. So are you going to wrestle him for the next week?
No, actually, I have all 9 that were in the national qualifier in there. There's always kind of a slight crazy opportunity that someone gets banged up or gets a concussion, and they just call the next guy up. That's what happened with Stephen Baldwin last year, and that was one thing he told me. Last year he didn't practice, and then all of a sudden he got a call the Monday of the week of nationals and had to try to make weight in 2 days. So I don't want to put any of the guys in that position. It's a little bit bittersweet for some of those guys, because pretty much their season's over, so they're putting in this work for some of those guys, if they're done wrestling, for nothing really other than kind of trying to stay in shape. But they understand the process, and they're just kind of praying and hoping to see if maybe you don't want someone to get hurt, but that'd be how they get in.
That's okay. You're almost done year 1, although it's not a complete year yet. So what's next for the Barton Wrestling program now as we move into the off season and looking to build this program up?
Yeah, we'll be running some freestyle and Greco I guess, open rooms, practices, so you can say, after spring break. Kind of getting ready to just a little bit different style, work on some different fundamentals that hopefully they can bring into their folk style world. And we'll host a team dual camp out at the college. I don't have the exact details on all that yet, but it's basically similar to when we did the Grapple on the Gridiron at the high school level, but we'll host it at the college and hopefully get some teams in there. Hopefully that'll be good for recruiting. And, otherwise just trying to get the roster filled back up, and hopefully the guys that can return will be returning and bring some guys to come alongside them.
You looking forward to a full season of recruiting now?
Yeah, it's been good. It's been different. Sometimes not either, I guess, because there's more time for a kid to make a decision, so they got more time to try to shop around, I guess you can say.
Right.
Last spring when I would make an offer, the kids didn't have a lot of time to figure it out because it was pretty much graduation time by the time I took the job. But they've had time this whole wrestling season to try to either better themselves, which is great. I just hope some of those kids that I've been talking to that maybe aren't on a lot of coaches' radars, but they might be after this weekend's state, regional, and state tournaments, that hopefully they remember who reached out to them first before they really got the big spotlight.
Nathan, appreciate it, and have fun in Council Bluffs, Iowa.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to
Maybe
it.
you can bring more than just one. That'd be good.
Yeah,
okay.
absolutely.
All right. Nathan Brockelman with us here on Sports Day, talking Barton Community College wrestling. We're going to go to Great Bend Panther basketball coming up next. Kyle Cree is going to be in, along with Dax Minton and Ian Premer, on the Sports Day show here on KVGB.
Community bankers should actually know your community. Hi, I'm Sean Powelson, president of your local Equity Bank. As someone who lives here, I know many of you, and I know what's important to you. I've been in the industry a long time, and I've helped many navigate through financial challenges and lead them to financial opportunities. I believe that people bank with people, so I'd like to invite you to stop by one of our region's 5 locations and meet our friendly, helpful staff. Let us show you our commitment to serving you and our communities. Because at Equity Bank, we're right here beside you. Member FDIC.
Central and Western Kansas residents, are you looking for a new vehicle? Marmy Auto Group can make it happen. Marmy Auto Group includes Ford, Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep and Ram, Chevrolet, and GMC. Marmy Auto Group, your Central and Western Kansas dealer, has new and pre-owned vehicles, or we can special order your vehicle today. If your existing vehicle needs serviced, Marmy's award-winning service department can help. Come to Marmy Auto Group on 10th or marmys.net. Marmys, make it happen.
Going? Okay, here we go. 3, 2, and
it's time to talk Great Bend High School basketball with head coach Kyle Cree. Great Bend High School basketball with head coach Kyle Cree.
Welcome back, Sports Day Today, brought to you in part by Advanced Therapy and Sports Medicine. Get your life
Welcome back,
back.
Sports
American
Day Today,
Plains
brought to you in
Co-op,
part by
Oak
Advanced
Fuel
Therapy
Department,
and
your
Sports
certified
Medicine.
Cenex
Get your life
lubricant
back.
dealer in
American
Great Bend.
Plains Co-op,
And
Oak
in
Fuel
part by
Department, your
Equity
certified
Bank, your
Cenex
hometown
lubricant
sports
dealer in
partner.
Great
You can
Bend.
visit one of their 5
And in
local
part
area
by
banks
Equity
in Great
Bank,
Bend,
your
Larned,
hometown sports partner.
You can
And
visit one of their
St.
5
John,
local
go to
area banks in Great Bend, Larned, Maxville.
Join us on the show,
and
head
St.
coach Kyle
John
Cree
of
of
the
the
13 and 5 Great Bend Panthers. With
Join us
him,
on the show,
Ian
head coach
Premer,
Kyle
along
Cree
with
of the 13
you
and
go
5
by
Great Bend
Dax.
Panthers.
I
With
like
him,
Dax,
Ian
but
Premer,
do
along
people
with
call you Dax?
You go by Dax.
What do you prefer,
I like
sir?
Dax,
but
but
do people call you
Okay,
Dax?
try and go
Dunn?
Dax.
I mean, what do you
Okay,
prefer,
all right,
sir?
very good.
I don't care either one.
All right. Okay, try and go Dax.
Yeah,
1 4 in a
okay,
row,
all right,
6
very
to
good.
7
So-
Kyle Cree. You want to be playing
All
your best basketball. 1 4 in a row, 6 to 7 Kyle Cree. You want to be playing your best basketball at the end of the season. Are you?
Yeah, I mean, I think we're getting there. It'd be interesting to see what the guys think and the other coaches. But in my personal opinion, I think we are on the right track. We're starting to play better defense and boxing out and kind of doing some of those little things that it takes to win basketball games.
Nice little home stretch for you here.
Yeah, it was great. It was a relief, and it's definitely fun to play in front of our student section and our families.
Okay, the funnest thing about the Western Athletic Conference is it's a smaller league, but the basketball championship regular season does mean something. You have that going out there. You still have a chance to get a share of it, I guess. But at this time of year, you're also watching those West standings in Class 5A, and right now you guys got a great shot at possibly hosting. You got to win games here, 2 of them down the stretch, but kind of watching 2 different things right now.
Yeah, no doubt about it. I think when we look at the WAC standings, we need some help from somebody else to knock off Hayes, and we got to take care of business on the 23rd. So, but other than that, I mean, looking at the West, I think we also need Hutch to lose another game because we would lose the head-to-head matchup and stuff like that. So we would be the 5 seed, and so they would probably host us if we won that first round or when we win that first round. So, but I mean, at the end of the day, I mean, we just got to keep thinking one game at a time because Dodge is scary and they're definitely capable. So if we start looking at, championships and playoffs and stuff like that, we might lose one.
Okay, we'll talk about the Red Demons coming up. You take them on Friday or tomorrow in Dodge. Liberal Tuesday, 70-51. I don't know if the game was as close as maybe the final score would indicate. How nice is it when you go out and apply that knockout blow in the first quarter?
Yeah, I mean, I think that's what it comes down to. We won the first quarter 20-5 and gave ourselves a lot of confidence. But just like anybody in the WAC, they've got good athletes, and the Martinez kid, the Pfizer kid, and the Kappelman kid. So those three kids are really athletic and probably good at anything that they do. So we wanted to take care of business. And looking back, we did win by 19 points, but I think there's a lot of things that we can improve on and take away from that game.
Okay, Dax, what are those things that Coach thinks that you need to work on right now? Because I'm sure he's probably expressed those to you a little bit.
Definitely our on-ball defense. Not letting them get to the rim so easily, help defense, rotating, just stuff like that.
What did you see early in that game that you said, okay, it's going to be a good night for the Panthers on Tuesday?
We were sharing the ball well. There wasn't people trying to get theirs and get scoring as a team.
Ian, you didn't have a bad game. 15 rebounds and 26 points, but how was it feeling for you on Tuesday night?
Good. Yeah, it's hard to rebound out of a zone, and them and Dodge both played zone, so I like to take advantage of that, go up, grab rebounds, get those easy second chance points.
So what do you like playing against more? I mean, on the offensive end, zones or man-to-man?
Probably man, but not by much. Man is just a little easier to score and transition to. But zones, those offensive rebounds, I love those because they don't know who to box out. They're looking around. It's pretty easy.
Okay, who's the toughest defender that's you've gone against this year that's taking you on man-to-man?
I don't know. There's been some good ones. It's more about obviously the on-ball defender, but then how they help too, if they're helping early and often, and just all of that rotations.
You threw out a nice bouquet of flowers, to Carter after said, he always finds you. How does that happen?
His vision, he's always looking around, and then he just knows when to pass it, where to put it, and he just continues to locate those passes over and over and over again. And that just makes it so much easier for, I know, me and all of us to really score and get put in scoring opportunities.
Besides hanging on the rim after a dunk, you've played with this guy for a long, long time, Dax. Where's he like to get the basketball at?
Post.
Yeah.
Down low.
Okay. Is that something that with this group now, so you're in the game, okay, I'm running the offense outside, I know where Maddox likes to get it, or, if you see a teammate that's in a particular spot, say, man, I got to get it to him right now.
Oh, yeah, definitely. Like, if you see Maddox cutting into the middle of the paint, give him the ball and let him do his little one dribble pull-up jumper, and it's almost automatic.
What if you see Parker Dix out there, out there outside on the wing?
And they drive in, they help off, and kick it to him, turn around, and head the other way.
Yeah, I think he's hitting like 47% of his threes in the last 5 games. Not too bad. We had Brock Kappelman in on the show yesterday. He play-by-play voice for Liberal. He stayed the night. So he's up, come on down. You can host a show with us tomorrow because they were playing Seward last night. So I said, what do you think about that Premier kid? You know what he said?
What?
He didn't say anything about your basketball. He said the thing I like more about Ian Premer is the way he conducts himself on the court. How's that make you feel?
That's good to hear. I always try and keep my body language positive and good and just let everyone know that I'm in control out there and not get too sped up or slowed down or let the refs affect how I'm playing.
But you posterize somebody with a dunk and you just go on about your business. That's cool.
Thank you. Yeah, I don't really want to get any tees or when we're up. We knew we should beat them, so maybe if it's a closer game, show a little more, but when we should beat them, just going about business and just completing that.
Yeah, Brock's done games for about 100 years, probably not quite as many as I have. So anyway, great compliment. I thought that was really neat yesterday.
I think you could probably say the same about his son, too. I think Brooks does a good job controlling himself and all the adversity that he faces on the basketball court. I think Brooks does a pretty good job, too.
Yeah, that's I don't know how I would do the play-by-play of my son out there. I would probably, since it's on radio, I'd probably throw in that, he got about 3 or 4 dunks maybe that he didn't.
Yeah,
You know,
I mean, he does a
picture.
good job. We like listening to the Liberal games, and we obviously get film on Huddle and stuff like that. But
Right.
it's almost more enjoyable to listen to Kappelman kind of commentate and give us a little insight on Liberal and the opponents.
Okay, Dodge City heading to Dodge tomorrow night. What do you remember about the first matchup with the Red Demons, Dax?
Their big dude in the middle.
Yeah,
Coachy.
Big old boy.
And he can jump a little bit too.
Just a little bit.
So what do they do? Remember defensively, offensively, some things that you're going to be zoned in on a little bit more after facing them the first time.
They run like a 1-3-1, but it's like their wings back off a little bit, so that'll be a little bit different. The only people we've seen run them, that is them.
Okay, what does motivation is to win those last two games? Obviously, you got a lot on the line right now. We mentioned the league part of it, but man, how nice would that be playing at home in a sub-state?
That'd be a huge advantage. I think our home crowd, especially during a sub-state, that'd be definitely a home advantage.
I mean, during a timeout, or maybe there's a loose ball, or between plays, did you have a chance last Friday to just kind of look around and say, "Holy smokes, there's a lot of people here"?
Warming up.
Yeah.
We were sitting on the half court like, this feels nice. How many people come out to watch us?
Yeah, it was great. And what do you got? You got to throw out to the band too, because you lot places.
Our band is really
Yeah,
good.
yeah.
Like you go to other places and you hear it, and it's just okay. But ours is always loud, large, and they're just
energetic,
really quality.
That's what I told our band director this morning. They do a good job, and
they have fun.
They play a lot of different songs, things that you would hear on the radio, and yeah, they do a great job.
Really keep the crowd engaged in the game.
Yeah, it's a team effort. There's something about the field house.
Yeah, and it's kind of cool to go back and see those kids in the band that I have in the classroom and be able to talk to them about the basketball game, because we got a lot of kids that put a lot of time into the band. So, yeah, it's awesome.
Okay, heading to Dodge. You already mentioned one fella you're probably thinking about right now, but your thoughts, Ian, on taking on Dodge City again?
They're a really solid team. Like, we beat them at home, but going there, it's always a little harder to win on the road, so we'll have to be locked in and ready to go. And offensively, they're pretty solid. They've got a couple of kids who can shoot, score from all three levels, and then Tochi in the middle, he's going to finish and rebound a lot.
How tall are you now?
6'6".
Okay, all right.
A little bit taller than Ben Nicholson.
Yes.
Okay, all right, because I remember last year you got to 6'5", man. Like I was asking, I just want to make sure you're not 6'7" yet.
Not yet. Hopefully I'll get there.
How tall is your pop?
He's 6'3".
Oh, he's a shrimp, man.
5'10".
Okay, all right. Okay, all right. We can get one more out of you. How tall are you, Dax?
6 foot.
Do the mittens grow later?
I hope.
Okay.
Beat him down in here. Just beat him down.
I'm hoping.
Okay, it's hard to believe we've got 18 games under our belt, right? So now you're not a sophomore anymore. You guys are juniors now, right? So how's your game involved in your sophomore season, Dax?
I think to begin the season, I was really timid. I was nervous. Now I just go out there and have fun.
Ian?
Like he said, just playing free and then getting used to playing with everyone. Obviously, the group changes from year to year, and then just getting that chemistry going, and then later in the year. I feel like we're playing really good right now. We all know what each other is going to do, and just got to keep it rolling.
Well, we can't talk about next week because we got one more to talk about, and that's going to be Dodge City coming up on Friday. How have you adjusted to this team with minutes and rotations and things like that? Have you kind of got in a groove yourself, Kyle?
Yeah, I mean, I think just, some of these guys have progressed so much. When I think about the guys on the bench, when we think about Daxton and Coop and Zay and Ben, those guys have been awesome. So we've been trying to get them in the game as much as possible, but also understand that we've got some seniors that are pretty good basketball players as well. And when I think about Daxton, I think this time last year we were kind of worried if Daxton even knew 2 or 3 plays. But now, I mean, honestly, we could put Daxton in there in any situation at any position. And he's kind of like a Swiss Army knife, and he's definitely a weapon to have. So just a fun group to coach. And I wish people could kind of see us outside the lines and, at practice when we're not doing drills and stuff like that. These guys really, really enjoy being around each other. And at times maybe they're maybe too competitive and talking too much trash. But, yeah, just an awesome group of kids.
Who talks the most trash on the team?
Daxton.
Yeah. I wasn't going to ask him. I was kind of... Okay, another important question, Dax. Okay. Does Parker ever smile?
Yes. Yes. I
Okay.
did see him smile the other day.
Okay.
It's never a full one. It's always a little half smile, but it's something. It's there.
He should be smiling, yeah, because he's just like, he's Mr. Business out there. You know, Professor Dix out on the court. So, is there anything about that Daxton does that irritates you, Ian?
There's many things. Just him overall.
Okay,
Yeah,
all right.
Daxton living.
He loves when I guard him at practice.
Likes to hold, but he's really good at getting in people's heads, and he does it this year.
Dax, you've been around this guy a long time. What's Ian do that just irritates you?
So at practice, I'll try guarding him, and obviously
Try being the key word.
I'll I'll rough him up a little bit, but he always gets his own rebound and scores, and I'll be on the ground, throw the ball at me, step over me, something like that.
Daxton never backs down, and I don't think Daxton likes it when Ian tries to give him little coaching tips either.
I don't know.
I just can, you can just tell there's stuff going on. It's awesome. Guys, appreciate you coming in. Your thoughts going to Dodge City tomorrow night and more business to take care of, Kyle?
I mean, I think we just got to do a better job of taking care of the basketball, I think, in transition and late in the game, and then I think we got to be ready for them to do something outside the box defensively, because I think they kind of try to go to a box and one towards the end of the game, so we'll be ready for that. Or, I think their coach, he definitely tries to mix it up on defense, so we got to be ready.
Anything Dax does that irritates you?
No, Daxton's awesome.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, I give him a hard time, and he's just an awesome kid.
Ian?
No, I mean, as long as he doesn't get too shot happy. I mean, as long as he's taking good shots. But no, these guys are awesome, and it's kind of what coaching is all about, having guys like this.
It's a fun group, and I appreciate you bringing different members in each week because it's been fun. And good luck tomorrow night.
Thank you very much.
Okay, thanks, guys.
Thank you.
That is Sports Day with Great Bend Panther basketball. We're going to talk Central Plains basketball coming up next with Michael Ryan here on the show on KVGB.
From the Mayo Money Management Studios, 1590 KVGB, Great Bend, and 95.5 FM K238CK, Hoisington.
If you need physical therapy, consider Advanced Therapy in Great Bend and Progressive Therapy in Larned and Hayes.
There's nothing like A-STEM therapy. This is Tim Marcus from Progressive Physical Therapy in Hayes. Research shows that A-STEM therapy improves muscle performance and neural functioning. It's highly effective for those dealing with tennis elbow, carpal tunnel, sports injuries, and general aches and pains.
You don't need to hurt. Physical therapy can help. Call Advanced or Progressive Therapy and Sports Medicine to explore your treatment options and get your life back.
We get it. Life is busy. It's a constant rush from work to home to sports practice and still trying to have quality time with your family. The latest technology from Nextech Wireless can help keep you connected and organized. Right now, when you get a new phone, you can get an Apple Watch or tablet on us. Stop by a store near you and visit with one of our wireless experts today. Nextech Wireless. Home on the range.
Hey everyone, this is Cole Ryan, voice of the Barton Cougars. Attending sporting events for Barton Community College is great, but did you know you can support the athletic teams even further by getting involved with the Cougar Booster Club? The Boosters help with fundraising for equipment and facility upgrades to give Barton athletes every opportunity to keep succeeding at the regional and national levels. Join the Cougar Booster Club as an individual or business. Call 620-792-9377. Become a booster today. Go Cougars.
It's Sports Day on 1590 KVGB and 95.5 FM. Presented by Barton Community College and the Cougar Athletic Department.
Welcome back to Sports Day, 1590 KVGB, 95.5 FM. Mike Corson joined today. Special guest, head basketball coach at Central Plains High School, Michael Ryan. Been a little bit, Michael. How you doing?
I'm doing great. Thanks for having me.
Awesome. So, yeah, anybody who knows Central Plains knows the name Ryan's been kind of synonymous with Central Plains over maybe the past decade. How fun to get to come back in a head coaching role.
No, I'm really enjoying it. Claflin and Central Plains and the community is a really special place filled with a lot of really high-quality people, and I'm just really excited and enjoying my opportunity to be back.
And when did you graduate over there?
I graduated in 16. Yep, graduated in 16. I'm the oldest of 5 of us now.
And I know I saw you on the sideline at Smoky Valley at one point. Was hoping you'd make it back to the green and white, but kind of what was your journey getting back to Claflin?
Yeah, I went to Bethany for a year when I graduated from high school and played basketball there. Then I messed my Achilles up and finished out at Fort Hays my last 3 years. Then I went to Smoky Valley for 2 years and was an assistant there under Doug Snyder. And I really enjoyed Smoky Valley, really enjoyed it. Great town, great community. And then when the job opened up back here for PE and high school basketball, I took the job and have been enjoying it ever since.
And obviously the Ryans were part of some big undefeated seasons over there, but the basketball team fell in some tough times. So you come back, you're now at 13-4. You've got losses to quality teams, Beloit St. John, Sunrise, Sterling, La Crosse. Kind of what has been the key to the turnaround this year?
Big part of it is the kids have just been so easy to work with. We talk about it all the time that our attitude and our effort has to be phenomenal. Because those are two things that we can control on a daily basis. And if you showed up to practice or you watched us in games, I think most people would probably agree that the kids do a great job with that. We always tell them if we have to coach your efforts, then we can't actually work on basketball. We're always constantly having to get on you to play hard. And our kids have done a great job. No matter if we're coming off a loss, if you showed up to practice the next day, you would never guess that we lost a game the day before. They hold their heads high and just show up ready to work, which makes it a lot of fun on my part.
And we've talked about that tough schedule. I know Sterling, I think they hit number 1 in 2A, La Crosse boys number 2. How is that tough competition going to help you out here when the games get more important?
It definitely helps us out a lot. When you play some lesser opponents, you don't necessarily see a lot of the stuff that you don't do well. You just see things that you do a good job at. So when you play good teams like the two you mentioned in Sunrise and Beloit St. John did some things that bothered us, it really exposes things we need to work on, and it lets the kids see that so that it's not just us telling them, okay, we need to get better at this. When you lose a game and you see that you're not doing those things real well, it opens up their eyes a little bit and lets them realize, okay, we really need to hunker down and get better in this area.
And you're in an odd spot where you're the big brother and you've got a little brother on the team. Peyton is a senior. I've got to watch him coming up. Always a great shooter. What's it like to coach your little brother?
It's been a lot of fun. He's a big reason why I decided to come back, just wanting to be able to try to put him in a decent position and be able to enjoy being around him. But he's been super easy to coach. I thought we might butt heads a little bit because he can be a little bit stubborn. I can be a little bit stubborn. But he has made it really easy, and I think anybody that's been around it can see that he's done a good job handling the situation because it is an awkward situation for him. He has to be able to draw the line between coach and brother, and he's done a nice job at it.
We're talking to Central Plains head basketball coach Michael Ryan. And who are some of your other contributors this year?
A big one is freshman Brody Kreitz. We've had quite a few Kreitzes go through the school system as well. His oldest brother was my age when we were going through, so it's kind of interesting to be able to coach his younger brother as well. Number 2, Aiden Heckley is a big one. He's averaging right about 10 points a game. Also, number 5, Hunter Klima. He's our other senior that plays a lot of minutes. He's a very good energy guy and just does a lot of things well that don't necessarily show up on a stat sheet all the time, but we're a lot better player when he's in the game. And that's the same thing with Landon Daniels. If anybody saw Landon play, he walks out there about a 5'11 center, but he competes with guys who are 5-6 inches taller than him just because he plays hard and uses his body well.
So you guys are currently sitting number 2 in 1A Division I in the St. John Sub-State. La Crosse is number 1, and obviously they just beat you pretty recently. What are the plans for the playoffs, and maybe how do you get over that hump if you have to see La Crosse again?
A big thing that we would just talk about is we just need to make sure we continue to improve every day. If we can continue to improve every day, we really hope that by the end of the season we're playing our best basketball. And like Pat Stiles always says, you have 20 practice games before you get into the real season. So we're really hoping that we can hit our stride, be playing our best basketball in the next couple weeks.
And we're still talking to head basketball coach Michael Ryan at Central Plains High School. So you were obviously a three-sport athlete over there, football state champion, tennis state champion, basketball, you just missed the state champions. Got a favorite sport that you played at Central Plains?
I always tell people I didn't necessarily have a favorite sport. And that's kind of the great thing about Central Plains, I think, that our kids are really bought into being good at multiple sports and not just saying football's my sport, basketball's my sport, track's my sport, whatever it is. But they do a good job of whatever season it is. They're really bought into it. Even if they're not the best at it, they contribute to it. But I'd say whatever season I was in when I was going through high school was probably my favorite at the time.
And we were actually just talking about you the other day being a head coach because I said, I think you were a sophomore when Brett Rolfs, the coach at the time, said, that's my floor general out there. So just how big know all this time that you were going to be a head coach, and how was that transition from player to coach?
Yeah, when I was probably about a freshman or sophomore is when I really thought that being a head coach is something that I wanted to do. And that's a big part because of Brett Rolfs. He was great. I loved being able to play under him. He taught me a lot and really encouraged me to do those things. But my first year coaching at Smoky, it was different. It really was. It's a challenge, or at least originally I thought, to be able to teach. It was a lot easier when you were playing, I thought, to be able to talk to people and do those things. But it was definitely an adjustment moving over. But kids here have made it really smooth, and it's made my life easy.
Yeah, and obviously no team wants to go into a season, hey, we might win 6 games, but high standards at Central Plains, does that impact or put more pressure on a coach when they come back to Central Plains?
I would say it definitely adds a little bit of pressure, but it's definitely a good thing. You don't want to be at a place where they just expect to win 6-7 games. You want to be at a place where the community wants to be successful and do those things. And here, people are willing to put in extra support to you, which is nice because then they expect good things in return. And the kids realize that too. So it's nice whenever you walk into the school in the morning, you have a few guys shooting in the gym before anyone else gets here. When you leave practice, you have people staying and putting in a little bit extra time. And that's stuff that we shouldn't take for granted, but that just doesn't happen in a lot of other places. So it's nice that the kids here are willing to put in extra time in order to see some of that success.
Talking to Central Plains head basketball coach Michael Ryan, maybe one or two or more here, but obviously the brother of Emily Ryan, who's now at Iowa State. So just a little bit about that. Back in the days when Iowa State making some tourney runs, you turn on national TV, there's the Ryan family. How fun was that to, maybe you didn't know you were on TV at the time, but getting some national exposure for you guys?
Yeah, it's a lot of fun. Emily has supplied our family with a lot of entertainment, and I don't know if she realizes how big of an impact that is on us, but it is awesome. Last year especially, her schedule lined up to where every weekend we were making road trips to Waco, we're making road trips to Austin, Lubbock, all different kinds of places. So that was awesome, and it's nice to see her be able to see the rewards from all the hard work she's put in over the years. Because the amount of time that she puts into it, I've never seen anything like it in my years that I've been around.
And then you also have a sister who's also coaching at Central Plains?
No, okay. My sister is at Sterling, my other one, and she is head coach of the guys and girls tennis program there.
Awesome. Michael Ryan, thanks for joining us. Always a pleasure to cover, and now a pleasure to talk to on the radio. So good luck to you the rest of the season.
Thanks for having me. Appreciate it.
More Sports Day after this.
Community bankers should actually know your community. Hi, I'm Amy Herrera, Regional Retail Manager for your local Equity Bank. As someone who lives here, I know many of you and I know what's important to you. I've been in the industry a long time and I've helped many people navigate through financial challenges and lead them to financial opportunities. I believe that people bank with people. I'd like to invite you to stop by one of our region's 5 locations and meet our friendly, helpful staff. Let us show you how we're committed to serving you in our communities. At Equity Bank, we're right here beside you. Member FDIC.
Get the power you need for your farm equipment. The power of peace of mind that dependable Cenex lubricants deliver. With decades of proven off-road performance backed by the industry-leading Cenex Total Protection Plan warranty. Cenex heavy-duty diesel engine oils, hydraulic fluids, gear lubricants, and greases are formulated to provide superior protection for load-bearing equipment. The power you need to keep your business running like a well-oiled machine.
Contact American Plains Co-op Fuel Department in Great Bend, your certified Cenex distributor, today.
Want to graduate a little sooner? Take online courses with Barton Online and transfer seamlessly to your university of choice without all the hassle. We have 6-week and 8-week sessions starting in February and March. Save tons of time and money and get ahead by taking courses at Barton and transferring your credits. Now enrolling for both sessions. Get started at online.bartoncccc.edu.
Sports Day is presented by Barton Community College and the Cougar Athletic Department. Sports Day on 1590 KVGB and 95.5 FM.
Sports Day brought to you in part by the Marmy Auto Group on 10th Street in Great Bend. Also by Eller Automotive Repair, a local mechanic that can help. They're located behind Great Bend Appliance, Furniture, and Sleep Source. And the Barton Cougar Booster Club, continuing their efforts to make the Barton Athletic Department the best in the country. Ran a little bit long today.
That's when you got...
Good guess.
That's what I was going to say. You got the kind of guys you got on the show today. You get Daxton and Ian in studio together with Coach Cree. What can you expect?
I got an inside source that told me that we had a halftime shooter on Tuesday night. A celebrity half-court shooter. And he missed.
It was the
Mike Minton. That's right.
I'm gonna be honest. I can't remember.
No, it was.
It must have been
the legendary King Moneagle with $800 at stake. Mike Minton shot an air ball.
Happens to some pretty good people. I don't know, some high quality athletes. Sometimes that half court shot doesn't go too well for them when they get out there. That doesn't mean anything against them as a person or as an athlete. Sometimes there's just that half court shot's a little bit tricky.
I think it just missed the rim. It didn't go through the door and down to the commons area at Great Bend High School.
But his doesn't have nearly as good of a fan reaction, I'm sure.
Well, I built you up, so. No, so, yeah, Dak's probably just thrown it in over his shoulder. Let's see. We had a firing yesterday in the NFL. 49ers fired defensive coordinator Steve Wilks 3 days after losing the Super Bowl.
And a lot of people are pointing like, oh, they didn't play. Like, it wasn't the defensive coordinator's fault in the Super Bowl that they lost. But following, because I followed the 49ers for a little bit this season, there's some discontent brewing even among the regular season between Shanahan and Wilks. I think I'm not quite sure what caused it, but 49ers defense has some pretty high expectations. They've had some very good units come out of there, and there's times where they dipped a little bit. Again, I don't think that the defense was necessarily solely responsible for the Super Bowl loss, but a couple of names. One name I saw floated around there for a potential San Fran defensive coordinator replacement, Bill Belichick. I don't know if he'd want to take a defensive coordinator role at this point.
Well, then you'd be a coordinator and you'd get in the Hall of Fame, right?
And then it'd be kind of an interesting, because we were talking, usually you have coordinators moving to head coaches, and so then they'll enter the Hall of Fame as a head coach that way. But Belichick could kind of do the opposite. Maybe he wants to check some of those team managing responsibilities. Maybe he doesn't want to have to deal with the upper management the way a head man does.
Somebody throws a name out and people jump on the line.
I don't know how much validity there is to it, but I'm still just surprised he didn't come out of the coaching cycle with a head coaching job.
Kansas State women get knocked off last night, 96-93 in Ames against Iowa State. Contest featured 13 lead changes. Emily Ryan was 1 for 14 in that game from the field, but 10 for 10 at the free throw line, and the K-State women go down. And it's springtime, boys. Hesh is going to be in front of the TV. Ford swept the front row and qualifying for the Daytona 500. Joey Logano, Michael McDowell. There you go. Daytona 500 this weekend. My goodness. Talk to you